Yes. In the Netherlands, annually 19 million kilos of glass is recycled, collected annually and recycled into glass wool and packaging materials, such as jars. And this is already quite an improvement because in most countries the glass ends up in landfill or, in the best case scenario, underneath roads as foundation. But we thought, what a waste of this huge amount of energy that went into the creation of the flat glass and the emissions and the virgin material that was needed. And about 3/4 of that material is sand. And you might think, well, at least there's plenty of sand in the world. And perhaps in this room people know, but outside of our industry, not many people know that the world is rapidly heading towards a sand shortage. And we're aiming for one of the biggest prices we've heard. And not all sand is suitable to be used in construction materials or in glass due to the particle size or composition. And my colleagues and I thought, well, if we're collecting all this flat glass, why are we recycling it? Why aren't we using it in window paints again? This would save huge amounts of energy and emissions and sand. And it also goes a lot higher, it's a lot higher circularity strategy. So these is what we call the air ladder in Dutch, but I think also in English. And at the bottom is recover, so burning materials and only reusing the energy. And at the top is refuse, so really consider if you need this product or if something else can be done. And we thought, why only recycle the glass? Perhaps we can upgrade it or directly reuse the IGUs. And with this idea in mind, we approached Flat Glass Recycling Netherlands, the one who collects all the flat glass. He had a really good laugh and thought we were insane, but then he said, okay, let's give it a go. And together we approached many other companies that you see here. And we started our research on how we could create a new IGU from post-consumer insulating glass. We did this in 2 steps. We looked into the quality of IGUs in buildings to determine the possibility of direct reuse of the IGU. And we came up with dozens of upgrade strategies together with our partners. And to go into the first part, my colleague and I visited over 40 buildings and measured over 1,000 IGUs with among these machines to determine the quality of the remaining argon and the sealants, etc. And the outcome of that, we have a paper already published, and the second paper is due at the end of the year. It's a little delayed because of illness of one of our colleagues. But the outcome is really you have to measure each IGU. You cannot take random samples. And therefore, we do not see this as a very viable method right now because it's just a lot of work. And also, 3/4 of the IGUs that we measured met up to the standard for their age, but not to be reused as a whole in a new building or a new facade. So for that reason, this was very interesting, but for now it's not viable. And then we looked into the next part is the upgrade strategies. So we came up with dozens of different strategies, and our blazing partners have made prototypes out of the most promising ones. I think there's quite a delay on the... So here you see the prototypes that were made during our research project. So the blue is the circular windows, circular spacers, and the red parts are the new ones. So we used, for example, we tried with a film on position 4, position 3. We made triple glazing, added a second layer, we used vacuum glazing, and Velux even laminated old window panes together with new ones. So we came up with quite a lot of different ones, but the most promising one is the one that you see here, circled. This is what we call the 50% circular glass. So the outer glass pane is the reused glass, and they add a new coated flat glass, and new spacer and new armor, of course. And already several of our partners are commercially selling this product since last year. So this we all presented together to a large group of Dutch glazing companies, demolition companies, construction companies, and parties from real estate. And our partners explained really how they separated the glass, how they did this, and also what the effect is of their business as usual, to stimulate as many parties in the Netherlands as possible to start working on circular IGUs in their own company. Here you see our partners, both from real estate and glazing companies. So this is the part that we did the last 2 years. So the reuse of the total IGU and the dismantling and the reuse of the basic flat glass in the 50% circular IGU. But the coming 2 years, we will look into upgrading the basic flat glass into tempered glass and laminated glass. And thirdly, the reuse of special flat glass and then thermally insulated coated glass, to be precise. I will go into that a bit more. So the thermally tempering of post-consumer glass, as you probably know, they heat up the glazing and rapidly cool the outer surface to create tension within the glass. Velux and Jolanda glass have done this during our previous project as a proof of concept, so we know it can be done, but we do not know yet what is the effect of damages, small or bigger, on the tempering process, because of course you do not want this glazing to explode in your oven due to a damage that was too big. So we are going to conduct lots of testing on that and on the strength and breaking pattern together with the team Delft and the other partners. Also, we're going to look into the laminating of reused glass. As I mentioned earlier on, Velux has done this, so we have a proof of concept. It is possible. But during the coming next 2 years, we will study what the effect is on the adhesion, what the effect of damages are on the adhesion process, and perhaps if it affects the breaking pattern. And what the combined glass thicknesses has for effect, because for example, Velux uses it in windows, roof windows. Currently they use 3.3 millimeters. What's the effect of the for 4? Of course it's more heavy, but perhaps there are things we are not realizing currently. And the third step will be the reuse of thermally insulated coated glass. Both GSF and Jolanda glass have made a proof of concept of 100% circular glass out of an IGU that was broken but was relatively new. So the low E coating was still very well intact. So we know this can be done with the new IGUs, and what we're going to be looking for is the oldest low E coatings. What is the effect of aging on their emissivity? Is there perhaps an option to add it as a third layer in coated glass? And also the effect of the dismantling. Of course, with the Hegla machine, it goes rather smoothly, but some of our partners cut open the spacer and then desiccants end up on the coating. So we're going to look into the damages of that and the effect, and perhaps it's better to remove it, but how to do so in the most circular way. So that will be what we're going to be studying the next 2 years. On behalf of our partners, I thank you very much. We have written several articles that you can download via our website. Some are in English, some are in Dutch, but Google Translate now has an excellent tool that you can put in PDFs and whole websites. It still doesn't. It doesn't work. And here you can find our publications, the small QR code on the right. So that was it.
Thank you so much.